This is where sound and lighting guys differ. See, when he was doing his interview, I wasn't shining lights in his eyes.
So I'm here with Gurn. He does lighting for Bush, and he's going to quickly, with all this stuff going on in the background, show us his rig and how he operates and what's going on with that.
Okay, can you hear me? Test 1, 2. 1. So this tour is a theater club tour.
Okay.
So we're not carrying 4 trucks of stuff. We're carrying 1 truck, basically what we call a floor system, although we are flying stuff. We're carrying stuff on the floor, the video, some magic panels, and we're tying into all the house systems, right? So there's a certain amount of patching that's going to go on, a couple hours a day, tying in, figuring out, changing types of lights because they change every day. So you got to go redo colors, redo gobo positions and things like that. The big challenge with this is, you know, trying to make a cohesive show out of lights, house lights that change every day. So yesterday I had par lights, all pars. Today I have all automation. Some of it's old, you know, some of it, some colors they just don't have. Some lights just don't have a lavender. They just don't have it. So what do? You know, so it's setting priorities. But that's it. And then once you get familiar with doing that and what the curve balls are, make sure that you have your baby, your console. I'm Hog 4 now. Okay. And quick on it. So you know that's the biggest key I think for any LD is just making sure you're familiarized with what you're on, so that you're slamming through it, you know, or else you just won't make it through the show. And like today, I mean, today the band came in and threw a new song, you know, and if I'm not through my focuses and the opening act is on stage, I'm not going to be able to program that song. Right. And then, you know, then I'm using another song or something, a duplicate look or something. So
even at this level, you're still faced with challenges.
Oh yeah,
on a daily basis.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you know, the challenges become things like sleep after a while and you know, personalities or health or things like that, just as any job. I'm sure that the road is probably, you know, 10 times as much as you know, because you're waking up and going to sleep the gig. Yeah. You know, so it never stops. So, and you don't get overtime.
No. So a big thing that's changing that I've noticed in the world of lighting is lighting guys are taking on a lot more. A big example here is the magic panels and your video wall. Yeah. And you're actually operating all the video at the same time. Yeah. So you're wearing 2 hats. Yeah.
Yeah. So understanding of video, the server. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm all the content on the Catalyst has time code. So it's locked on time code. They send me time code. It locks on. It plays it. In addition to that, I'm able to manipulate the server. Basically, the intensity. If time code locks or anything happens, I can pull it down. I can also shade it. I can also put effects over it, or you know, move it, scale it, and in addition to the magic panels, which anybody that doesn't know that's a low res. It's like 6 pixels by 6 pixels. I could put video content through that. Of course, it doesn't translate when you're dealing with people and hands and words and things like that.
But the colors.
But it does when you're dealing with shapes and movement and you know, waves and things that go out from the screen. Gavin's our initial conversation was he was concerned that the size of our screen, because we're playing small places, isn't going to fit in some small places, and then when we play bigger places, how is it going to look big? So my solution was let's come up with a good size screen, and then let's tag on and flank it with magic panels.
Spread them out.
And spread them out, and then add the animation as, you know, fill the stage with animation. So it seems to work really well, and I'm able to manipulate the magic panels, feed them server content, and have full functionality of every pixel on the console. So I can play around with, you know, I can have just certain pixels lit with content going through it.
Cool.
And movement and all that stuff. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so basically the strength with this Hog, it's anybody that's familiar with the Hog line is that you can configure, or any console nowadays, you configure it kind of the way you want and you get used to it. And that goes with focuses, palettes, and the way you lay your show out and the way you lay your pages out and stuff like that. And then, you know, when you're real familiar with it, that adds speed to your day, and that adds confidence in programming and everything else. So the more you switch around, you get not used to it, that slows you down. And that carries over to my wing, and over on the wing I have Gavin's Licos, facial stuff that changes every day. Sometimes they're not bright at all, sometimes they're really bright. And as opposed to going through every cue and embedding those, I like to just grab them, bring them up, and stop them when they look good, you know. So I play a lot with that.
That's on the fly.
On the fly, yeah.
Cool.
So the Licos, the band Licos, little accents, and like I say, the quality of those instruments per venue changes so drastically that I find it's just better to stick them in there. Stick them in the wing. Also, just pars and things that I want to flash and add accents. If, you know, audience stuff, he's always addressing the audience just randomly. And then the other thing I have is always, you know, my haze there.
Right.
And at the very end, all the way to the right, is my T. That's my transition cue.
Oh,
so
cool.
that's a blue wash or a Congo blue wash, or sometimes it's a par, deep par wash for transitions. I've just found out over the years that it's like bands react really well to me as an LD, just because, you know, after the song ends, I reach for that and they're not caught in the dark. So guitar changes go really well. The backline guys are happy. You get along on the bus a lot better. You know?
And okay, so to the left here, we have the video server.
And then, yeah, I have Catalyst Pro version 4 or 5 or something. It's the latest high def video server. And it's running SMPTE timecode in. It's got Image Pros, a couple backups. It's basically an Apple Tower with a backup, 2 Apple Towers. It takes a long time during rehearsal. You know, loading content takes a long time, hours and hours, and then you have to basically tell it the starting time code frame for every bit of content in order for it to follow. But it seems to follow pretty well. And the great thing about the video, you know, I do a lot of video, but not a lot that's really time coded to the song. And Jesse Davies was the guy that did a lot of the content. He really did a lot to the music, like on the hits, like even like precision hits. So that really translated well to the magic panels.
Right.
So I just like, you know, bring up the intensity on the magic panels and let the hit happen, and it's just like a lighting hit.
Cool.
You know, so that was, I had to tweak it a little bit and add a little bit of intensity to it and stuff, and maybe some color, but it was kind of neat to, you know, follow his cues instead of the other way. So
That's neat.
Yeah.
If somebody were to approach you and ask for one piece of advice to help them in their career to go forward, what would that be?
One piece of advice.
Yeah, or the best piece of advice.
The best piece of advice in this industry.
In lighting.
In lighting.
Or in the industry, it's up to you.
I would say be the first one to volunteer. Be the first one to leap forward. Don't worry. I know this is several bits of advice in one, but be the first to volunteer. Don't be scared to work, and don't be so quick to worry about the money. And it's a hard thing to say, but it's true.
Yeah.
And because there's a lot of volunteer stuff that goes on. There's a lot of stuff that goes on where you want to be near a lighting company, you want to be near an LD, you want to be near something, but then you're like, well, I'm not just going to go over there if I'm not getting paid, right? So that attitude's not going to get you there.
Yeah.
I can tell that, like, the people that I've brought on my tours, it's people that have just like come to me and go, how do I get in? It's like, okay, you want to work. And they never discuss money, but they just wanted to work, right? So those are the people that just are there. They're gonna get the work. So
right on.
Yeah. So that's it. Can't be lazy. I mean, lighting is hard work. Lighting, especially if you're starting out, lighting is hard work. I mean, I'm still working on this tour. There's only me and a tech, and it's a lot of stuff for two people. Yeah. So physical labor, probably not that much, but I can take 12 guys and keep them working, and just running around all day. Yeah. So.
I think that a big conception that people have in this industry is the higher up you get, the less work you do, and I don't think that's true at all.
No, and especially for responsibility-wise, because what we call this, the other end of the snake is tough politically sometimes, and that's a whole different pressure that you have to time all the time and stuff like that. When you're a tech, it's like, yeah, you deal with that pressure of putting the stuff together, but once it's together, you can kind of escape on that other side of the snake. And anything that happens is my fault.
Yep.
It's also my. I get a great satisfaction out of it when it does work, but
when it doesn't.
But when it doesn't, you get that sinking feeling, yeah.
Well, thanks so much for your time.
You're welcome.
It was a real treat.
Yeah.
Very insightful and very much appreciated.
All right, hope I help.
Thank you.
All right.